darkness. You afraid? I'm not. The dark is afraid of me.
Don't let tough. We treat you right when the world treats you rough.
Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay is an overlooked first-person stealth action title from the mid-2000s. It stands as one of the best licensed games ever made, and well worth a playthrough. I was recommended Escape from Butcher Bay in the comments section for my Mankind Divided DLC video, talking about how much I enjoyed the prison setting. It also came up in my Dark Messiah video comments for the emphasis Escape from Butcher Bay puts on first-person combat. Both these videos are pinned in the comment below. I actually bought Escape from Butcher Bay on GOG several years ago and played through it and had a great time with it, although I can't exactly remember much about the game. It came bundled with Assault on Dark Athena, its sequel released 5 years later. So the version I'm playing here is the remastered version, which has its issues, but more on that later. Due to licensing issues, Escape from Butcher Bay is no longer available on GOG or Steam, so if you're looking to pick it up, you'll have to get a bit more creative. Too bad I didn't get Devotion in time before the 50 Cents Army got to it.
Oh yes, I'm rumbly in my tumbly.
Escape from Butcher Bay is based on the Chronicles of Riddick franchise, which started with the film Pitch Black in 2000. Escape from Butcher Bay was released in June 2004, just under 2 weeks before the release of the second film, The Chronicles of Riddick. Escape from Butcher Bay is my only experience of the franchise. I haven't watched any of the films. Escape from Butcher Bay was developed by Starbreeze Studios, a Swedish-based studio, along in collaboration with Vin Diesel's founded studio, Tiggen Studios. Jan Anderson, one of the members of Starbreeze, this isn't actually the first time he's been mentioned on this channel, for eventually he'd go indie and make the overlooked Metroidvania Yoku's Island Express, which, while very different from Escape from Butcher Bay, is a great game. Check that video out after if you want. Vin Diesel was very hands-on and passionate about the project. This wasn't just a cheap cash-in game. He helped develop the plot and character design, suggesting things like cutting back on dialogue that the original script had, feeling Riddick talked too much. Dude's an old-school nerd. Escape from Butcher Bay has one of the more clever tutorials I've encountered in a game. We start off with Riddick being taken into Butcher Bay by Johns, and will be serenaded by Vin Diesel's voice throughout the game, along with an internal monologue that gives us indication of what we need to do, or where we need to go next.
The air is thick. Smells of oil, machines, crushed rock, DNA protection. New meat learns the hard way. That smell. Sewers. Could be a way out. Narcland. The spaceport hangars should be up ahead. Better to stay low and unnoticed.
Sometimes this can be a cheap tactic to help guide the player, but when you have a voice like this, I can overlook it. Once we arrive, we're given a taste of some of the key mechanics of the game: stealth, melee combat, and gun combat. That all seemed too easy. I thought this was supposed to be some max security level prison. Well, surprise!
It was all a dream!
Yes, they managed to pull off the "it was all a dream" in a clever way that doesn't feel like a cheat. Allows us to get a feel for the game mechanics of Escape from Butcher Bay. As I mentioned earlier, this version of Escape from Butcher Bay that I'm playing here is the remastered version, which came out in 2009 and bundled with Assault on Dark Athena, the game's sequel. The updates are made to be more in line with how that game looks. Even today, Escape from Butcher Bay looks fantastic. Really nails the feel of a heavy-duty prison on a faraway planet. It doesn't quite reach that look that a lot of games started to have in the mid to late 2000s where browns and gray were all the rage. And this came out just shortly before Doom 3, so it's really quite impressive. Man, 2004 was quite the year for gaming, wasn't it? But there are some areas in the remastered version that look vastly inferior to the original. I found this video that shows the differences between the two, which I'll have linked in the description. A few comments mentioned that it looks like at some points the remastered version of Escape from Butcher Bay looks like it has Vaseline smeared all over the camera. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but it is too bad. So if you can't find the original version of Escape from Butcher Bay, I'd try to get my hands on that one, although the remastered version is fine too. This isn't like having your first experience with Silent Hill 2 be the remastered edition. So now, Escape from Butcher Bay begins proper as we're taken to the prison with the credits showing the voice cast, and hold on, that voice sounds familiar.
So check those desires right now, because you will not get out. No one has, no one ever will.
Is that who I think it is? Fuck yeah, Exhibit. He knocks it out of the park here in Escape from Butcher Bay, and honestly, they could have made him the main antagonist. He deserved more screen time than the game gives him. Once we're in our cell, we're free to explore, get a feel for the place, have dialogue with other inmates and give us quests for money or smokes, and you'll be getting and finding a lot of smokes.
Smokes, let's go. Smokes, let's go.
The game has a pretty narrow focus here right now and keeps the guns away until later in a fairly clever way. These guns are DNA encoded. So we eventually deal with one of the other prisoners in a shank fight to the death, and the game really starts to open up afterwards.
Looks like I need a new rooster. You interested? They respect you now, Riddick. I can make things easier. Say something. I take that as a no.
Damn, Riddick, you could help you pimp out your cell a little bit. Though I guess you didn't really want to stay here long, didn't you? Throughout Escape from Butcher Bay, we'll get downtime to talk to people, including Ron Perlman.
I'm Jagger Valance. Perhaps you've heard of me.
I'm not a very good listener.
And Pope Joe, the dude with the Vince McMahon strut.
No chance, that's what you got.
From here, we shift through areas that include stealth focus, melee combat, gun combat, and some exploration for downtime. So let's dive into these different mechanics and how they play.
It ain't the fall that gets you. It's a sudden stop at the bottom.
With not a sophisticated stealth system and maybe a bit underbaked, Escape from Butcher Bay does a reasonable job with its stealth mechanics. When we crouch down, our vision changes slightly, and if we're undetectable, the screen will have a bluish tint. It's minimal, but I'll take that any day over the million pop-ups or detective visions that most modern stealth games love to use. Sneaking up on enemies allows us to break some necks, which is quite satisfying. Oh yes, there are vents that we could crawl through to navigate around. So since we can navigate through vents, I bet you're wondering now, is Escape from Butcher Bay an immersive sim? I don't consider it one. It has elements of it, but not a full-fledged immersive sim. We'll have areas in the game where stealth is the ideal approach due to lack of weapons, but the game opens up later on literally where we have areas where we could go in quiet or go in loud. And speaking of going in loud, let's talk about the gun combat in Escape from Butcher Bay. Like stealth, it does the job. It's not bad by any stretch, but nothing to really write home about. Shotgun lacks a bit of oomph, but I do enjoy how it reloads. We're given just a few guns here, and we have a very minimal interface, which I appreciate. Oh, and get used to hearing John DiMaggio everywhere doing the Marcus Phoenix voice a couple years before Gears of War was released. He's everywhere.
Show yourself. Motherfucker! I've got a runner here, Code Red. Inmate on the run.
Got a med station back here. I'll let you use it if you pay me.
The healing system Escape from Butcher Bay is an interesting mix of regeneration and using health stations. We have a number of squares for health, which we could gather more throughout the game with these life extension machines. When we take damage, each square will slowly be reduced. However, if it's not fully reduced, it will eventually regenerate, where we move down to the next square. We can use healing stations to heal up to 4 squares, and we could restock those machines with canisters that we find about the place. While I only played Escape from Butcher Bay on normal, I could see more strategy can be used with these, whether or not to heal now or move forward and see what's ahead. It's an interesting system that does a solid job of bridging the world between more classic FPS style healing and health regeneration. When people talk about Butcher Bay, the melee combat system comes up quite frequently. Although just having played Dark Messiah, it's a step down, which I guess is a bit unfair considering pretty much every game when it comes to first-person combat is inferior to Dark Messiah. Oh, and on that note, I forgot my Dark Messiah video to mention Shady Knight, an upcoming indie title with heavy influences from Dark Messiah. But back to Escape from Butcher Bay. Depending on which direction key we hit when we attack, we'll take different swings, and if timed right, we can make use of counterattacks. It's satisfying to counter a gun swing to take enemies down instantly. So nice of these guards to swing at us instead of shooting us in the face in such close range. Definitely above average compared to other first-person based combat games, but it's still a bit underbaked. Escape from Butcher Bay isn't a long game and can be completed in about half a dozen hours or so. Fine by me. In the previous video I did on Alien Isolation, as much as I love that game, it was a bit too long for what it was going for. Escape from Butcher Bay constantly mixes up things here, from areas where we can relax and talk to others to get quests, combat areas for either melee or gun use, or areas where stealth is the best way forward, or a combination of melee, guns, or stealth. Of course, there's also times when you'll get to step into a mech suit and mech shit up.
Analysis suggestion. Pilot should activate full AI control as battle analysis suggestion.
We'll also get a couple of areas where we deal with monsters instead of guards, and just when it feels like it's going on too long, the game shifts away just at the right time. We do have a few cases of cutscene incompetence to guess the sections where we're stripped of our guns, although it wasn't a case of me rolling my eyes when it did happen. It's not a deal breaker.
No time like the present, Johns.
I got him, Riddick! I got him!
Good effort. Bad result.
As far as pacing goes in Escape from Butcher Bay, reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 4 in the best way possible. I hold Resident Evil 4 as the gold standard when it comes to pacing in games, which constantly switching things to keep you on your toes and never bored. When people talk about Escape from Butcher Bay, I don't feel that the pacing of the game gets enough credit here.
Butcher Bay had a detached deficiency. It could contain the cons, but could never control them.
So if you haven't checked out Escape from Butcher Bay, give it a shot. Not only are you getting one of the best licensed games around, you're getting a nice mixture of melee, stealth, and gun combat in a unique setting. Doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's a title if you're into the kind of games I cover on this channel, you'll enjoy. Thanks everyone, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you do check out Escape from Butcher Bay. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know the whole shebang. Boulder Punch out.
I live for this shit.